Hi guys, Tugo here with a new video, and this video will be more of a discussion video because I feel like right now the queues are a bit disgusting and I'm not really too inclined to wait for like too long, so I prefer to make a video about my top 5 changes I would like to see in World of Warcraft PvP. I know that Blizzard is not going to listen to me though, but I hope that the echo chamber that YouTube can be and Reddit can be used into something that we can maybe demand to Blizzard for the next patch 10.1, although it's in 1 month, so I guess it will not get implemented. But maybe for a patch 10.1.5, it could be interesting to see. So I would like to see, and I know it's a debate and people may not like it, but I would like to see a new RBG map, a new RBG mode, solo queue or not. I frankly do not care. I do like solo queue, but I guess the RBG community don't really want solo queue for some reason. But I would like them to make a MOBA map, so a Heroes of the Storm PvP battleground map where you have basically one support, which is the healer, and then 4 DPS or 1 tank and 3 DPS. I don't care how they legit find a way to make it work, but the queue times would not be that hard in solo queue. It will also not be very hard to find teammates because again, if you want to make a team of 5 and you have 1 healer and 4 DPSs, you can make it work. And how it would work on that map would be like every single level you get like a choice node, like from Torghast, for example, and you choose, for example, 5% more damage on Chaos Bolt or 10% more damage on Conflag, for example, as a destruction warlock, or more survivability at level 3, for example. So whenever you're level 3 in the MOBA map, you're level 70, right? But level 3 on that MOBA map, you get a choice node where you have like a bigger radius on Shadow Fury, for example, or you have a longer like distance that you can actually use your mortal call, for example. Like all those things you can actually add to spice it up, but also have a sense of progression within that map. And how would you gain Elo is pretty much how you do in the map. If you're a solo queue, it's pretty much like how much damage you do, how much healing you do and such, for example. But what we could do is also like 5v5, if it's like pure pre-made, it is whenever you're winning you do gain a lot of CR, if you lose CR. But of course there is the time constraint where people would say, look, a MOBA map could be like 30 or 40 minutes long. It's quite long for World of Warcraft. Well, the dynamic of a map in MOBAs are actually dictated by devs. If the devs wanted to have a 10-minute duration, you could easily implement that by making stronger minions, for example, stronger power-ups, anything, but you can make it work. I think that dynamic could be very fun and it could be a very good competitive scene also for the AWC instead of AWC, because it's arena. It could be the I don't know, man, another name, but you can basically have a team of 5 versus another team of 5. It could be actually very fun to watch and also a lot easier to watch as a viewer, I think, if you're outside of the World of Warcraft crowd. That would be my biggest change that I would like to see, but I don't think they have time to implement that. Maybe for the next expansion or anything. But there are ways to make it happen, but it depends about the will of those developers. What I would like to see is actually solo queue revamp. So I really like solo shuffle. I really like how they make it work. But the problem is the healers are just not inclined to queue. And I don't think there is any incentive that you can actually put for healers to actually queue, except making the game more fun for them, to the point where everyone wants to roll a healer. I think it is safe to say that dampening can go away from solo shuffle in this current state. Maybe in 10.1, dampening will be needed because the damage will be reduced, the CC will be reduced. But right now, I think solo shuffle, how fast the games are going and how limited it can feel as a healer to actually like heal someone that is getting bursted at the first minute, I think reducing or just removing dampening from solo shuffle could go a long way. The matches can be a bit longer, but I think it's also more enjoyable and you have more skill expression outside of the 30 seconds, 1 minute goes that someone is going to decimate someone. And I think people in the comment section below, let me know how many times do you have social matches actually go the full length of a round. It is actually not happening. People are actually dying in the first minute, and if it's not on the first minute, the second minute they are probably dead because the healers have no CDs. Like for example, 3 life form for resto druid is the moment where you can keep people alive, but outside of that, people are going to die with just 1 CC on the resto druid, for example. And even then, even without CC, it's very hard to actually sustain. And I think it would be, again, a mana game. And I think by making dampening non-existent in social, I would definitely put extra modifiers in social. Like for example, that healers are getting and some healers are more efficient than others, but you cannot have every single tool. I think resto druid is one of them that should have some good healing capacities and healing also mana management into social, because it doesn't have that much damage. It has a risk factor which is HOTS, which is very dispellable and very counterable, and switching targets is actually something that happens quite often in social. So it's not like it's a Therese problem. I think it's a whole like mechanic problem where HOTS are not healing enough to actually sustain people, even without dampening. But with dampening, it becomes even harder to actually catch up on damage. But that would be my change. So basically remove dampening or adjust dampening to a certain level where it is more enjoyable for a healer to play. Because I can understand that, imagine over the course of a match, your damage is reduced. Instead of doing 100k, I would say final reckoning as a Retribution Paladin, for example, after 2 minutes of the match, you're doing 50k final reckoning. It's stupid, right? You don't feel powerful, you feel like diminished, your mana is diminished as a healer, and your throughput is not the same from A to finish. Like, so I think it's not a very good thing to have in the game, especially in the game like right now in Threes. I think dampening is a rubber band that we need to actually have not that long of matches, but I think that's because of a balance issue, and that you have to rubber band it to actually make it work. But I think in Soul Shuffle with the current burst, and even in Threes to be honest, but in Soul Shuffle with the current burst and current meta, I really think dampening should just go away and let the people play the game how they can play the game, by having strategies, having some CD reliance and some CD management, and win those games because of that. So that would be my fourth change. My third change would be the Brawlers Guild or Dual Guild, whatever. So basically a big arena, do it in a Wotlk, and somewhere where people are hovering, and you have like a huge coliseum, and you can queue for social, and then you can speak to someone in the arena, and you're going to queue for 1v1s, and someone else will just queue 1v1. You're going to face each other, and you can have fun while waiting for the queue. Now what people are actually doing is like they're mining or whatever, farming. That's all good, but what they're actually doing is playing on a second account and queue on that second account, for example, or they are actually like doing something else and they miss the queue, and they're waiting for 50 minutes for nothing. So I really think that if there is a dueling guild or a Brawlers Guild, whatever, with some incentives, with some cool achievements, some cool mounts that you can farm, with a reward system where if you win multiple times, you do get some currencies that you can spend for mounts or whatever. You can find a way to make it attractive, and how you can do it also, you can queue cross server, so you don't only play versus your own server, but you can just queue up and someone else from another server will queue up as well, and you can face each other, so the queues will be quite small for that game mode. You don't really need rating. I would like maybe a 1v1 rating system, but I don't think they are ready to do that, and there is too much imbalances right now to actually have that in the game. I think it could be very fun. It's also very good content, and in general 1v1s like duels is actually very fun to do. We just don't really have a dedicated place to do it outside of Wotlk. And like for example here you can duel people, but let's be honest, most of them are actually PvEers, so they're not going to really play or try hard. So that would be my third change. My second change would be for PvP at least, make 2v2 rewards a thing. Like, just up the rewards for every single bracket. So 2v2 RBGs, 3v3 even, like up the rewards somehow, some way. Not only glad level rewards, but you can also have duelist level rewards. Have titles that can also stay outside of the current season. So for example, duelist, if you're playing multiple games as a duelist, for example, I don't know, 200 games as a duelist, you do get a title specific for that season as a duelist, for example. So you have ways that you want to grind. You don't want to stay at duelist because you are duelist and that's it. You want to grind the game again and again and again to get those titles, to get those mounts, to get those like bragging rights that people actually do love to do. So I would say like something like that for in threes. In twos, give glad mounts again, the glad titles, glad whatever. I'm not really a 2v2 fan. Everyone knows that I'm not really a 2v2 fan on this channel. I'm barely played 2v2. I also kind of bash on 2v2 because of the balancing, but I think having more rewards is a good thing. It doesn't undermine 3v3 as well, because you can make a recolor or you can do something else. You already do that with gear, basically with tier sets actually having recolors. Does it make the mythic one the mythic rating one any less prestigious? No, not really. I think if you see someone with the mythic colors, you're still going to enjoy it. If you see like someone with elite or glad colors, you still are going to enjoy it. So I think you should give some rewards with recoloring or whatever, man, past expansion rewards, but something to attract 2v2 and RBG players. Because or even for Soul Shuffle, man, we do need something extra than Crimson Legend, which is not very easy to attain, because right now the actual rating for Crimson Legend for most classes are above 3k. I don't know about you, but the queues being that long, plus also having to queue until 3k, and still do you have the capacities to do that, is actually very hard. Like, I was 2.6k, I'm actually 2.6k MMR on my Destruction Warlock. I don't see myself queue 50 minutes every single game to attain 3k. I know I can. Do I want to though? I don't think so. Even for content, it is not worth to sit 50 minutes of queue. Even with like someone like me that has a lot of time to queue to play, I refuse to do that because it is a waste of time. And yes, I can play classic at the side, or I can do other things on the side. But I do refuse that if I want to play on my Destruction Warlock, that I have to wait 50 minutes to actually play my Destruction Warlock on said bracket. It is unacceptable. So I would like to see that change, because of all the things rewards wise. Just up the rewards for every single activity. You can do that. You have the artists. Recoloring is not hard because you already do that for tier sets. Just do that for mounts as well, or do that for titles. It's only like a line of code. Let's be honest. The titles is literally a line of code. Just add that. Mounts I can maybe understand, because maybe you want to have specific things for glads and for Crimson Legend or whatever. But 2v2 in RBGs needs some kind of help to get people playing. Like, only bragging rights of being said rating is not enough. You want to incentivize players, and I think even healers could have that. Also, it's still my second point, healers should have specific healer rewards. So if you're a DPS and you want to collect every single title, every single mount, you have to play healer as well, and you have to improve as a healer. And maybe while you're improving as a healer, you might even like it and you might still stay as a healer. I think those are the great incentives you can actually give towards DPS players to play healers. You want to keep healers to play healer, but in general, healers are still going to play healers most of the time. So what you want to do is actually attract a bigger pool of players, so you can actually have more healers and less queues, and also like more LFG presence. So that is my second point. My first ever point that I would change for next patch or like the close future would be just do big balancing changes right now. You don't have any choice. What you could do is basically nerf pretty hard Retribution Paladin, nerf demonology warlock, nerf BM hunter, nerf a bit of arms warrior, and you have a complete new meta. I would buff the healers, but I would not buff any other DPS until you see the effects on the ladder. I know that I'm an enhancement shaman. I do want buffs, I do want changes, but if you could nerf Rets, BM, Demonology Warlock, and Arms Warrior, you create actually a very new meta where Retribution Paladin Warrior will still be played, but it will not be in this state right now. Demonology Warlock was always obnoxious to play against, even more whenever it's S tier. And BM Hunter, let's be honest, I play BM Hunter. It is quite stupid right now, damage-wise, and I think it could like have some shifts in the damage proportions. I would maybe give less power to the pets and give more powers to the BM Hunter, so you have some agency towards your damage. But if you're CC'd, your damage is cut off, for example. So something like that. BM Hunter is now reliably one of the classes that relies the most about pets, even more than Demonology Warlock, let's be honest. And if you actually give more power to the BM Hunter and take the power from pets and you transfer it to BM Hunter, I think it would be quite the same, like strength wise, but at least they have some counters. At least you have ways to actually like stop the damage by CCing the BM Hunter. That would be my suggestion. Of course, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. I know that every single class needs some kind of buff towards a specific way of playing. Let's be honest, Outlaw Rogue is in terrible space. Fury Warriors as well. I would even say right now Enhancement Shaman is a bit better right now because of the meta, but it's still not as good, because it's the only reason why Enhancement Shaman you see a bit more of them. It is because classes are actually getting destroyed by Retribution Paladins. And the Retribution Paladin Arms Warrior with a Resto Shaman, it's the worst comp that you can actually face, especially in 3v3, but also in solo shuffle. But if you actually nerf those classes and you just see what is happening, you don't need to wait 2 or 3 weeks. Just wait a week and you will see a shift in the meta. People are reactive super fast on those things. They do react and they do change whenever they feel like a spec is garbage or not. Let's be honest, Retribution Paladin was good for like 3 days, and everyone and their mother actually made a Retribution Paladin and played Retribution Paladin until they have like 3k rating. The Retribution Paladin is now the most played spec out there. In 3s, in 2s, in RBGs, in solo shuffle, anywhere. And it's actually quite crazy, especially in 2s, where Retribution Paladin is one of the specs that actually should be underperforming in 2s, but he's actually overperforming because the damage is outpacing the MS effect. You don't need an MS effect as a Retribution Paladin if you're actually one-shotting people, right? So that's my take about the balancing changes. So to recap, what do we need? A 5v5 MOBA map. We need the healer incentive by reducing dampening. Dampening is very big. The third point is, what was my third point? I'm thinking about it because I did that on the fly. The reward system was the second point. The third point was the Brawlers Guild. I want like a 1v1 zone where we can actually queue up and play and get some rewards with currencies, with achievements, with titles, whatever you can actually put that in that like Brawlers Guild, Duels Guild, and actually try to sustain that. Don't let it die. Just try to make it something that will happen every single patch, every single expansion. The second point is rewards. We need rewards in 2s, in RBGs, in 3v3 even more, and also in solo shuffle. We want people to play. Healer incentive rewards as well. So you want to heal because you want titles and you want mounts. My last point would be still balancing changes. We need heavy changes on the top tiers. Do not touch anything else. I know it's annoying because you have like the bad tiers, like for example Outlaw Rogues and such, but you need to see what is the effect on the meta and then adjust accordingly. You do not want to make super heavy switches by nerfing the top tiers and buffing the under tiers, because that will just change anything and it will just result to another meta with a single spec or dual spec over the top of the world. Like for example right now this Retribution Paladin, Demonology Warlock, and to a certain extent BM Hunter Arms Warrior. So those are my takes. Please do know, again, let me know in the comment section below what you think about that video. Let me know about my suggestions. I try to be still positive on the videos. I know I did like a rant on Reddit, but also on the community post, but I try to give some positivity towards World of Warcraft, some positivity towards the changes I try to make and to try to say, because again, not everything is like thrown out of the window. I think Dragonflight is still one of the best expansions PvP wise. They kind of dropped the ball with 10.7. I thought those were good changes in 10.7, but it actually destroyed the whole meta, and maybe we should backpedal on that and work towards something greater that could be World of Warcraft. But anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Be sure to stay safe. We will catch each other very soon in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.